And the reason I'm laughing a bit is I remember going back to one of my first Nightwish songs where I heard Marco sing, at least on his own for the first time, and I remember saying something stupid like, he could be a frontman. Welcome back, and thank you for joining me for another reaction video. If you're new here, subscribe, turn on those notifications, and you're good to go. We are back with a band that I have not done on the channel yet. I've been asked countless times to take a look at them, so I'm very excited. They are called Delain. They're a Dutch symphonic metal band, and I am amped because they have a special guest, and his name is Marco from Nightwish. Very keen to see what sound they have, how they've taken the symphonic metal genre and kind of made it their own. I've heard a lot of people talk about these guys, and they've come up loads in some of my other symphonic metal reactions, so very keen to see what they're about. Without further ado, Delain featuring Marco from Nightwish. Nothing Left live. Let's see what you got. Okay, I love symphonic metal for this one reason. You can take a heavy riff like that with a solid groove in the drums, and you can kind of let it just keep going and drive that point home, but you've got these strings and synth pieces that float on top and float in the background, and they create this kind of balance to what you're doing with the guitar and the drums and slightly more aggressive sounds. I think it's really interesting. Towards the end there, you had a bit of a horn section coming in, quite staccato. It was quite closed off and broken up, but it sounded really nice, and it was getting more and more important in the sound. It is kind of this formula that exists with all symphonic metal bands. However, each band that I've listened to so far has found a way to make it their own, and that's really interesting. Wow. She's got a really nice, especially right there at the end, she's got a really nice kind of ring to her vibrato. It's a bit more harsh on it, and it's a bit more pushed forward and delivered. I think it's really cool. Super delicate, start to the singing there, coming with that heavy riff, pull back, just the keys in her. Really nice. I think her name is Charlotte. Haven't heard her yet, so it's amazing. It seems like there's an endless supply of these fantastic female vocals for bands like this, and I'm so glad to hear how they've each got their own flavor and their own spice and sound to it, and I'm looking forward to this one. Okay, I gotta say something, because I'm laughing a little bit inside. Marco is an incredible talent, and ironically, their voices are really well matched up. Sometimes you get collaborations and features where the artist is actually just doing a feature because they're friends with the band or they know each other. I don't know if that's the case here. I'm sure they are friendly, but their vocals are really well suited. Now, it's hard to find someone who Marco can't work with because he's such a phenomenal talent. And the reason I'm laughing a bit is I remember going back to one of my first Nightwish songs where I heard Marco sing, at least on his own for the first time, and I remember saying something stupid like, he could be a frontman. Knowing his history now with Tara, knowing his importance in Nightwish, and seeing him just stand there and dominate right now with her, even in this small segment, incredible talent. Okay, so when you break into a piece like this where it's calmer, and I think it was kind of just keys in her earlier, and now it's got a bit more instrumentation, there's drums, but listen to what the bass is doing. The bass plays an impossibly important role there. You're going to hear it hit accents with a kick, and then you're going to hear one or two notes shift in between, and that's when you get the tonality and the backup of her melody that she's singing. But it is kind of that bridge. We don't give bass, I think, if you've played with a good bassist, you'll understand the importance. And I say a good bassist because there are a lot of guitarists who kind of shift to bass just to fill a void, and there's nothing wrong with that. But there are some remarkable bassists who just understand music, and doing those little notes in between, those little drifts between the percussive elements or reinforcement that he's doing is really special. Okay, I like the trade-off they're doing. It wasn't so evident in the last set of phrasing, but it is there. You know, she's kind of, Marco's starting just before she finishes, and vice versa, and they're kind of passing that. It's like a vocal relay, and they're passing the baton between each other. I think it's very, very cool, and it kind of goes back and forth. Their voices, again, really well matched together. Marco is... it's weird to see him without a bass guitar or any instrument of any kind, but it is awesome because he's just so confident, and he is a true musician's musician because he can kind of do it all. And I wouldn't be surprised if he could play a number of instruments that we haven't even seen, or I haven't even seen yet. I do like this. There is a nice thing to listen out for in this piece where they're doing the trade-off, and that is the string section in the back. That's actually much busier than the song is. And there's this kind of there's a nice relationship between the tempo of what the drum is doing and the accenting of the keys in that string work. There is something nice that happened there, and I'm sure it'll happen again, so I'll leave it here to track forward. But basically what you've got is a lot of chugging and palm muting, particularly in the verse, and in the chorus it is there, but then there are these chords that ring out, and because they've kind of held them back and sustained them a little bit, when they hit and when they ring out, there is a massive impact of that. And again, it's just a smart way of kind of knowing when to lay your cards on the table, and a chorus is a good place to do that. Classy solo, man. Classy, solid playing, really comfortable. You can see the body language of how he plays, how comfortable he is with that. He's not having to tuck in too tight to get everything to sit perfectly. There's no nerves around what he's doing. And why would there be? He's a professional and he's playing for a huge band. But you still do see it, and it's nice to see how at one he is with that instrument. How many strings does he have? Why does it look like 9? That's a lot. if you're going to use them, why not? Awesome solo. I like that little pinch at the end there where you let that ring and she started singing on top of it. That's a really nice way to kind of make sure that the solo stays part of the song and doesn't become a distant piece that's separated. There's the Ringouts. I gotta say this. I'll leave it there because it's in a good place to go forward. I think that Marco is such a mature musician because in terms of the volume of the mics, you could hear they're pretty well balanced. Obviously, going to have a good mix for such a big band, but he's the way that he's singing, the distance he's keeping that mic away, you can still hear his quality. You can still hear him reinforcing the melody and supporting, amplifying that chorus. But he's by no means trying to take over or be the lead. Even at the end, where Marco tends to have a bit more volume on his vibrato, because it feels like it's a bit more. There's a bit more power behind it than the rest of the kind of clean note that he holds, and it's just his style really. There's no wrong or right to that, but you could hear him control that really nicely to make sure that her voice is the hero because he's the feature, right? And I think it's really smart. Wow. Oh, I love those endings. Oh, that's rad. I love those endings. I love those long solos, waiting for the drummer to almost tease the rest of the band and pull it back to that kind of kick snare and then into the cymbal ring out. I love it. And it's nice on stage. You'll find out that every time they do that, it's probably slightly different and slightly different length of it. That was awesome. That was a song. That was a proper song. And that sounds like such a stupid thing to say. Of course, it's a song. What I mean is it wasn't trying to be this over-the-top composition. It wasn't trying to be anything silly. It had a great melody. It had good structure to it. There was really nice technical playing, fantastic singing there. And it's done more than enough to make sure that I want to listen to more of their stuff. So Delain, I'm going to start that rabbit hole now. I'd love to get your thoughts on that. Sometimes I like to look at a feature just like this because, I do know Marco, so it's a nice introduction, makes me feel comfortable. It feels like, when you visit a friend, but you know one other person there. That's like kind of like, one person at the house party, you don't know anyone else. That's kind of what this feels like. And it was a lot of fun and really keen to get stuck into a lot more of this stuff. So please, I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. And again, there's going to be probably a lot of people thinking, oh, I wish you started with that song, or I wish you'd start with that song. We're going to get to them all, I promise. And our entry point is fairly irrelevant as long as we do get to start listening to them and enjoying all their music. And we've just done that. So let me know where to go next, and super excited about that one. Until then, please be safe, be nice to each other, and have a damn good day.